Alright. Use stream key. Where's it? Stream. Alright. Apply. We should be good to go if I click start streaming. Should begin, so. Test. There we go. Wow. It works. You also titled in Poker Bar. Okay. Each range. Yeah. Live options. We're breaking down. Should be good. Alright. Let's give it a go. Go live. Alright, we're live. Holy shit. Alright. I guess what I can do now is just wait for people. I guess I'll give like 30 seconds. Pog. What's up? Pog. Yeah, the entire chat so far is just Pog. So yeah. I guess I'm doing this a bit early. I can play the first track. And then get started. I'm Killfy for the record. Yeah, I know. What's up? Glad to see you guys here. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, we literally have like a minute left before I have to actually break it down. So I guess what I could do is I could I play the songs and break it down. Let's see. Akeos songs. So we have this song. We have. So first I will play Dreamer Crush, which is the song I am breaking down first.
Is it really that time again?
Oh. Okay. Well, seems like it's already 10. Shit. Okay. I was gonna try to go like 5 minutes early and just like play it off, but I mean I can just get started now. It's fine whatsoever. So to start things off, we could go. Yeah. Well, obviously we're gonna start by the intro. So for the intro. What exactly is first? Okay, so what's first is the. If I go to all, what is first is the melody. So the melody is just a basic arpeggio in kilohertz 1, in which I need to find kilohertz 1. I'm recording, yeah. Yeah. I am recording. I should be perfectly okay. I'm like, I double checked and triple checked, so if I'm not fine, then, like, fuck me, because I literally should be okay. Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah. Let's see. Yep, stop recording. There it is. Yeah. I am recording for sure. So, for the first synth, aka just basic arpeggio in the intro, it is a kilohertz 1 preset, because at the time, to be completely realistic, I didn't really feel like laying down a synth myself, plus I thought this one was pretty basic by itself. It just sounds like a solid D tune, like most people can just recreate easily. Just what takes a major factor in just it sounding like perfectly fine and where I thought it was fine, if that makes any sense, is the attack. Like, so I'm pretty sure you should be able to see kilohertz 1. Yes, you can see kilohertz 1. So it's set to like around like envelope attack 209, which gives it like, it's not like a major sweep, but it's like a slight bit of a sleep. I wish I could delete my music. Fuck. I'd kill for the day. No, but there's a slight bit of like, I guess the release doesn't matter. The release is literally just like, it's simplistic. Like, I didn't do like a shit ton, but I did a bit, so it leaves a bit of the tail. And then you just have the basic melody going on. You have layers going on. You have the C1 and the E3. So if I just like play this by itself, like, so it's like it's like an underneath layer, which kind of like, it warms around the mids, because if I were to just have it be like, oh shit, come on. If I were to just mute the bottoms, which would be just like the C2, blah blah blah, this one. First of all, half of it incorporates the bottom melody, but also importantly, the lower melodies. You can hear like the Slayer bit like mids there. If I were to like open up an EQ, and then it's more based around these parts, but it also takes roles in the high end. Answer me this: which side count is yours? Abeafo, Akron, Kyoko. Abeafo. I can't tell you who Akron or Kyoko is, but how do I FL? Ethan, you could probably open FL right now and make a fucking banger, to be honest. I mean, I don't really feel like FL is that hard if you're like someone that knows Ableton off the bat. Like, if you know one thing off the bat, you should be fine with like making a song in another. Like, I've tried Ableton for a little bit, and FL wasn't that hard to get into. What's the Synth VST? The Synth VST is kilohertz 1. Part of the well, it's not solely a part of the kilohertz pack, but I got this from the kilohertz pack. The subtractive synthesizer. So it just, literally all it does is it's just basic shapes, essentially. So you have the saw wave, square, noise, and yeah. You have the sub, which is basically literally the sine wave. So this is like, I felt scary. I didn't used to be Ableton, but I like took a break from FL and just dived into Ableton, and now I'm back in FL. Whatever. So, for Valhalla Vintage Verb, obviously it's just, literally all it's doing is incorporating stereo. It's not really doing much of like reverb. Like if it were to be doing reverb, it literally, it sounds like this, which also sounds cool, but I thought it was cooler if it was more minimal. FL stock. FL stock's pretty cool, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, basic reverb. Grisby is set to a basic 10.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
10, because I was too lazy to do tape stuff. So, so this is the Grisby automation here. It's not playing at all. and then it plays like I have a slope going from this point to this point, so it just goes the straight slope 100 all the way up. And then it's literally just a tape top. Like you can literally do this in kilohertz tape top or whatever. Whatever you like to do, it's fine. Like you can do anything. But I prefer to. At the time when I was first making the song, I was more of just like rushing out an intro just to play it out live. In which I don't even think I did play out live, if anything. I can't remember live shows really well and what I exactly played. But I remember I was trying to finish this out as a DJ tool. In which I don't think I even got to play out as a DJ tool, so whatever. This still turned out to be one of my favorites, so I'm still happy with it. For the vocal samples, I don't know if a lot of people know, but it's just G-Man vocals. From Half-Life 2. So in regular pitch it sounds like this. And then E3 Mono, what E3 Mono does is like, I don't know what to describe the sound that it's giving off, but it's like, it sounds like a bit more crunchier than what it should be, and that's what I like about it. What did your first few songs sound like? First few songs sounded pretty terrible. They weren't dubstep, they were more of like trap, and they were very sample-based. Sample-based is in like free sample packs, like the Cycle Christmas sample packs, all that shit. It's like, I can probably go back to my old Google Music account and find my old music, but I literally don't want to waste my time ever going back and looking at my old music again. It's just fucking like something that makes me crawl up and die inside. So, back to the breakdown. G-Man vocal. Reverb.
Really?
Obviously, it's just insanely wet. The reason why I picked 75% rather than just fucking doing full force is another smoother version. I mean, it's not like it really matters. It's just like, it's the same thing as a mix. It's just a really wet reverb that's like playing like almost subtly in the background, but it's still a little bit dry up.
Is it really that?
It's giving off a bit of stereo too. But originally I gave off too much stereo if I play like this.
Is it really that time again?
I don't even know if stereo works on Facebook Live. This is my first time using Facebook Live, but do you produce with a live crowd in mind? I don't really produce with a live crowd in mind. I more of like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really depends on like what song you could be talking about. If you talk about Derma Crush, I feel like it was originally intended for a live crowd audience, but there are some other songs, like this one I'm about to break down next, that wasn't really meant to be for live crowd purposes, more just like for shits and giggles. So yeah, how do I master? So for mastering, it's usually like what I like to do is I like to cut off the highs a bit, like roll them off a bit, like as you see here, because sometimes I end up thinking to myself that my general song is like almost done, but it sounds like there's a little bit too much highs, or that SoundCloud could be eliminating the high-end artifact a bit. So I feel like rolling off a high-end bit is it's not a bad idea, but it's really up to you if you actually want to do it or not. So it's literally just like an EQ and a soft clipper. I usually leave the threshold at 3.0 and then leave the post gain hitting 0 exactly. There's not really any preference when it comes to threshold. You could do threshold full blast. You could do threshold like squished. It's really up to you what you like, and like it's just like the very minimal dynamic range thing. It's like you see it's fully like squashed right there if you look at the waveform. But if you like squish it down to like 6.0 or something, you can see that's like being saturated by the slightest. You ever use the highest threshold for soft clipper? No, I don't. Where did you learn song structure and Serum skills? Serum is more of just like messing around, having fun. For song structures, I used to reference a lot. I used to reference a lot and end up sometimes I'll get stuff that sounds way too much like other people because I just reference that structure. Why cut out the high end? Why not fix the mix? Because I am lazy as fuck. So realistically, I feel like it's a lot easier to just cut off the high end in the general pre-master before it hits the soft clipper. Because I'd rather do that than go through every single track, in which this case, there's only 41 tracks, so it's not that big of a deal. But sometimes there's 50 or over, and I'd much rather prefer to just cut off the high end and just keep it like that. So that's what I just roll with. Do I use Fruity Reverb too? Sometimes I use Fruity Reverb too, and not all the time. Sometimes I wouldn't say it's a bad reverb plugin, but also I don't use it often. What are some of your favorite techniques for using your tune, aside from the delay manipulation? So, the thing is, with delay manipulation, I don't even really use it that often. What I do like to do for flow ideas is I like to mess around with granulizer. So, I guess I could probably do a little off-course thing after I get a little bit more into the breakdown, which I would like to do now. So, generally for the intro. So, we have white noise rides. It's literally just a white noise ride, and then you have the hi-hats, vengeance. What I like to do usually is, there's a vocodec preset called, if I can find it, Special Effects Reverb 2, which is literally just a reverb effect, but it makes it a lot easier to EQ out what you're specifically doing. You could use anything else. There's a lot of other programs that, reverb programs or any kind of program, for instances, that do that thing. A really good one I like is Fruity Convolver. Fruity Convolver, it lets you take what you want. You could do the default impact, or you can do white noise, or you can put anything in here. This is a sample-based convolver, and this is why I love FL built-in plugins for more so for these kind of things, because they're built-in EQ. They have the little pencil tip, and the pencil tip is so easy to work with. You just you literally draw your EQ right now. Boom, there you go. That's gonna be loud as hell, but I love the slopes. Let's see. How do I sidechain? So for sidechain, I guess since I'm pretty sure, yeah, here it is. It is Fruity Balance. Fruity Balance so it's just volume automation. It has a slight slope based on what kick I'm using. So if I closely look at my kick, it seems like it has a 10% slope or something like that. So I turn it up to, originally it was 13, I literally just saw that. It's 13. And what I do is I usually route everything that I want to do. Where can we get good white noise packs? For white noise, there's not really any specific white noise packs unless you're looking for general effects. For general effects, I would recommend Abletunes. There's an Abletunes pack. I'm pretty sure it's free. Abletunes, risers, falls, and effects. There's virus noise risers. There's regular noise risers, noise falls. But for the white noise ride, it's literally just white noise. Just white noise with a slope. It sounds like it has a little bit more of a transient to it too. Probably another hat in the back too. But I use this I think in every track, and it's essential. I like it. Helps fill out stuff a lot. What sign shading do you literally everything besides the kick and the snare? Volume, right? No, not everything. It's literally everything synth-wise. So most subs, sometimes I'll have a sub impact and I'll leave that by itself, but sometimes I will drop sub, I tend to do that a lot. I usually route sub, drop sims, intro sims sometimes, depending on if you have like actual if you have actual sims that need to be ducked a bit or at all. Another thing, additionally, for sidechain, I like to do is I set the grid up here, if you can see it. I set it to 1-2 step. I have like a little like pre-shift here. It doesn't like, depending on how you use it, it helps punch through jumps a little bit better. So I used to have like a lot of issues with just generally sidechaining that. Let's see. How do you deal with plug-in delay when using automation clips? Plug-in delay clips. I can't say I've dealt with plug-in delay compensation when coming to automation clips. It depends on what you're using. If there's something that I found that has heavily plugin delay compensation, it's for whatever reason Melda plugins, which is kind of why I try my hardest to avoid whatever gives off a plugin delay compensation, because I don't like dealing with that kind of stuff. It's frustrating, I'd say, to deal with, and I can't really say I've found a way to deal with it either. So in the end, I'm just kind of fucked on that, and if I actually end up using it one day or running into it. For kicks, that is not a kick, that's the fucking sub. So for kick, usually I fade out the sample, so copy value. Usually what I like to do is sometimes I'll have like a wobbly low ender here, or I will like to have it fit the slope of the 30 bounce. So what I do is I set it to 1-2 step. If I can you can closely see like the lines right here. What I like to do is I like to cut off the kick where you can see it best. So it looks like it ends like right here, right where this slope ends. And then I move it around a bit. Obviously, if you keep like it in a bit, it has your kick be very thin, but it also works. Limiters are going to have a lot. Yes, I agree. Limiters have a lot. I also don't use limiters, so that's another reason why I can say I never dealt with that kind of issue. The only time I use limiters is for sometimes hard clipping distortion, or limiting things really softly without having it clip all the way or having clipping artifacts. Also for kick, it's literally just a transient shifter. Usually I have it at 500. I have the attack turned up however much you want it to be. It's really more just listening and seeing what fits best. So I could that's obviously too much. Regular by itself sounds fine, but sometimes you have your drums pop a bit. Sorry to be cute stuff. I don't mix with kick, that's the thing. What I'm trying to get at here is in terms of EQing, I don't EQ at all. I literally, most of the times I use a transient shaper. Sometimes I'll put an EQ in to lower the high end a bit, which not all the times. Well, most of the times I don't run into that situation where I think to myself that I need to EQ it. Obviously, I leave it mono in the mix. That's literally it. Most of the times it's just transient shaper. Are you loosey-goosey with letting channels go over 2B? Not really. I more so mix as I go. Usually I like to push stuff more. I like having a louder master than I do having a fairly dynamic master, which is obviously stupid to some people, but that's just how I prefer, and that's how I felt is most comfortable with my music, is pushing stuff, rather than letting stuff sit down in the mix. How do you make fills in your songs? Okay, so I'll go through claps first. So for claps, I usually have a couple layers. I have 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layers, and pretty sure these are all, no, they're all on the same channel. So clap body 3 and clap 12 are on the same mixer, but this one is more of like a laid back body kind of thing. It's not, this sample came by itself like this, except for the EQ part. I boosted it a bit, boosted it a bit, and then EQ'd it down. So it's more of just like a clap that's sitting back in the mix. And then the other claps are taking a high-end preference. This probably looks like a cancerous, this looks like a cancerous EQ to some people, but usually I mix it past the 200 line down here, which sits around here, and I have the high-end sitting up here. Sometimes. It depends on what you have. If you have something that sounds like the high-end's fine, then the high-end's fine, whatever. But if you have something that sounds like it use more high-end, use more high-end. It more so depends on like what you follow with in your ears. How do I use granules for flow? Okay, I guess I can just show this off real quick. So if I go, I can just open up granulizer real quick. Granulizer for flow is definitely a fun idea. Use an audio interface or ACO drivers as your audio settings when working on track. I use FL ACO, which is routed to my laptop. And I just use headphones. So I don't really use any like audio interface kind of stuff or like any like drivers or anything like that. I just use what I'm given in my computer rather than like invest in that kind of stuff. Where's the master pitch? Okay. Is it not going to sit here? There we go. Okay. So, for granulizer flows, I like to just mess around with a random sample. You can use anything, for instance. I don't normally have it past the right side of the wave spacing. I have it like to the left side because it seems to like repeat itself over there. So, usually I like to sometimes I'll route it to whatever sounds fine. So like, say I like that sound, I like the sound of this, and that sounds closest to triplets. I would get an envelope, have the attack here, hold here, EK, and I'd route it to where it sounds perfect as one shot. Sometimes I'll mess around with the pitch or whatever just for sounds or sound variation. Mod X and Mod Y I don't usually mess with. Sometimes I mess with sampling manipulation, as in like you dream mono and then stretch and shove it. Sometimes reverse it, sometimes it's normal. Well, most of the time you can normalize it. I like a ring modulator to it. And then I'll route to the piano roll and I'll... So, for instance, I thought it sounded best in triplets. So what I would do is I would lay it down here, go to 1/3 step, set it to triplets, which should be this. And I have to mute this. Where is it? God damn it, my computer. So, there. I did have the triplets. Fucking Envoy in the chat. I hate Envoy. A lot of these tips carry over to no matter what DAW you use. Yeah. I agree with Anthony in this case. you can most of the methods, like most of them, not all of them obviously, but most of them, you can transfer into stuff like Ableton or Bitwig or Reason or anything like that. It more so depends on like how you approach it, in my opinion. Yeah, I just find FL the most comfortable to work with. Do you compress sub with the top bass? I compress sub with the top bass. Yeah. Sometimes. So, considering the sub and the synth were both routed to the same sidechain bus, it's just used as a free bounce, but they're both like they're going a little bit over what it should be regularly going by. So for free bounce, it'll say like the highest you can go is 5.6 dB, 1.90, but then I'll usually sometimes put it up to like 5 dB or 5.5, or I'll set it down to 6 or something like that. Something that like it all flows together best with. How do you guys make your sub? Do you write them instead of allowing plugin? So come through plugin. Writing subs. For Dermacrush, I used pretty much every oscillator possible in here. So the first oscillator is just a basic sine wave. The second one is a octave up, which it gives it this kind of sound. It sounds like a slap bass kind of. And I have it just set at this, like it just gives a slight bit more harmonics, just a slight bit. And I think that slight bit additional boost is perfect. And then a little bit of white noise in the back just to fill it up a bit. And then sound godizer to kind of compress the sub a bit. And then blood overdrive. What blood overdrive is doing is it's saturating intensely. Sometimes I have to like squish it all the way, or sometimes I'll have it like that. I thought it sounded weird, like right here, so I turned it down to 6 dB a bit. Obviously, you don't want your white noise to be like over. I don't know if I missed this or not, but go. You did not miss it. Okay, but no clashing. Usually, there's no clashing. Not really. Just question. Camera Crusher is also an alternator for blood. For clashing, I guess since people are asking me how to do the synth processing now, I can go over synth processing. So, for the first synth, you have the drop synth, which is... Okay, so for the serum patch, I did $1 reverb for the intro. It's literally the same thing, but it just has reverb on it. Set to 32. It's all the same processing, literally. It just has super wet-ass reverb. So, for the first synth, how do you layer Simpson with... I make the synth at 0.959. I will go over this in a second. I will show off synth processing first. So, without the synth, it pretty much sounds the same. Like it's you have a sub that's distorting. All this is being ran through a bit of stereo imaging. Well, not really stereo imaging, but just dimension. And then you have it being full squashed into a tube that's set to 95%. Without it, it doesn't sound as bad, but I prefer to have it more crunchier. And then you squash it. To be fair, chorus isn't really doing much. Like, I could take this off, and I can make the song like that, and it'd be okay. Like, it doesn't really do anything. You have a high-end boost right here, going into a multi-band. None of these are being touched at all. It's just being pushed into gain. And then you have a low-pass filter, which is has a bit of resonance going on. Okay, so then for processing, let me close this. For processing, you have, pretty sure this is reverb vocodix. Yeah, this is reverb vocodix. This is what reverb vocodix sounds like on a bass. It just sounds like minimal reverb. So next synth, we have the underneath layers. So for Drum Crush, I use 2 instances of layers. So I have the first bass, which is something I saved that I granularize. I tend to resample a lot. Like this entire folder right here is a lot of like resampled stuff. Like it's just a bunch of resampled shit. And I have another folder here actually. No, I have another folder here, which is this is the one I use. So the only thing that's really changed about this in terms of like from the original sample is that I have it E3 monoed 50 cents up because it's original E. Okay, I talk about the footer. I can talk about it in a second. Actually, to be frank, I think I'm about to go across it right now, like while showing off the processing of these. So I have this is set to 1 versus 5. It's not doing anything. It's literally just squashed up higher in the mix. And when it's squashed up higher in the mix, it tends to be like a lot louder, and it fits for more like a fill. So this is set for a fill. The next synth right here is set for a background layer, which is over here. Oh hey, yeah. So let's see. You can see OTT. Perfect. I don't even know if I can't zoom in. This is as big as it gets. Def 81 time 64 because I didn't want it intensely too wet or anything. So for vocodix reverb, what does the E3 mono option change? The E3 mono option changes not a lot. It's just like if I use stretch, it sounds kind of like weird. Like, if you like stretch out more, it obviously has like the actual like stretch kind of sound to it. But if you have like E3 mono, it still keeps like the crunchiness in the bass. Same for anything else like resample or E2 mono, or I'm pretty sure E2 speech does the same too. So for vocodix reverb, so I can probably just literally make a new instance and show it off. So this is how I can, yep, you can see it, perfect. So what I do is I go to the presets, special effects, reverb 2. By default, it sounds like this. It sounds insanely wet. So if you want it to not be like super tailish, like as in like the decay is super like all the way over, you move around this release knob. You can see my cursor just now. So can't fucking bullshit. No, you can see it. I'm pretty sure you can. Okay, well here, if it's not any more obvious, I can just move around back and forth a bit. So the release time is set up short. So for this, I set it to 120.09. It's not like anything I wanted specifically. I just wanted to shorten it down a bit. And then I am also moving these around doesn't matter like over here, but like if you set it up over here, it starts to have like the really like smooth band vocoder sound, which it starts to go off course from what a reverb sound is like. And then after that, there's 2 ways you can EQ out the reverb. So like, obviously you have all the mids sitting here, which is not what I prefer to have for a sound. So you can cut it off like this. You can do like this. You can do this and set it to that, and sounds fine. Probably turn it down a bit, and it just sits back in the background without it. It's just filling it in a bit. But also you can, where is it? Where is it? Step editing? Yeah, step editing. So the other way you can do it is you can customly draw your reverb. You can draw you draw a slope right here. Just do like a little minimal hill slope. You get the same results, obviously. I hope you are too, Brennan. Thank you. How do I come up with fills? Hopefully that's enough for vocodix. I'm pretty sure I've broken down like as much as I can possible while attempting to make sense at least. So I could just wrap up the background sound real quick, and I can show off fills a bit. It's literally just a sausage fattener. I think you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Sausage fattener set to 650. It's literally doing nothing like any other thing cannot do. It's more just like, oh hey, what do I randomly select while I'm producing? I could randomly select something like Fruity Soft Clipper, Sunrise, or OTT, Wave Shaper, or something like that. I just randomly select whatever. It all does the same kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, without it, obviously it's quiet, whatever, and then I push it up a bit, and it sounds perfect, in my opinion. So, for fills. Okay, so, for the people asking about fills, I'd appreciate it if you could be, like, more specific as to what you're asking about within fills. There's a couple kind of, like, different, like, considerations of fills in this song. There's drum fills. You have that kind of fill. You have fills like bass fills like this. You have those kind of fills like glitch fills. It's more of how to do clean, loud, mixing and mastering. Loud and clean mixing and mastering. For that, mainly you want to get EQs and hard clippers. You want to have stuff like Sausage Fattener or Camel Crusher or JST Clip or Camel Crusher. I'm pretty sure I literally just said Camel Crusher, I don't know. I'm tired as hell, honestly. And you have like fast distortion. You have all this kind of stuff. It more so depends on like how you gain stage, I think. This synth fill is a deep sounding one is sick. So for synth fills, you have what I did for this one. I randomly took a sound off of Splice and I messed around with it. So if I were to show off the original sound should sound like this. Here, stop. The original sound is this. So then what I did for it is I obviously normalized it so it's sitting up to standard volumes. Put A3 mono on it because if it's set at 600. Yep, it's set at 600. So if I set it to 0, it's playing a B, like a B or A. I have it stretched to fit the half bar, so it just starts and ends when the clap hits and then the kick comes back in. And I have EQ. If you set the EQ to left, it does more high end. If you set it to the right, it does less highs. In this case, I thought it could use more highs, so I set it over to here so it gets more highs. And I use Poco. Obviously, it sounds cool like this, but I liked it like I like the way it's syncopated, like right here. Like it's hitting like shortly after the clap is, rather than hitting right at the quarter note before the kick. Plus, I like the descending pitch. Descending pitch is a very cool thing. In which this case, it's playing F right here because it's not being pitch moved at all. Pogo moves around the pitch. Can I talk about game station? Yeah, I will talk about as much as you want in a second. Like, I'm not ignoring any of these. I just want to like try to fully describe everything I can in the best ways possible. So that's why I'm like constantly like sometimes revising what I do, just to like make sure that I got everything right. So without anything, it just sounds like that, but it's being like heavily compressed and saturated. So sound guys are compressing it. Pretty Balanced is turning it down a bit because if I turn it up, it sounds way too distorted. I have it like nice and set back. The drive is set up here to just distort it. Just obvious distortion. It's being set for a JC clip in the camel crusher. Slight bit of mech. There is what? 5% mech, 5%, 10% tube. And these don't really matter. This is just additional shit I do. Like I just set the curve over here to look like that. So the up here to give off more high end. But realistically, it sounds fine without any of the other ones. Like I can just take this off right now. Whatever, it doesn't do a heavy difference besides the high end boost. High end boost is fine. You can have high end boost if you want. It sounds fine without the high end boost. I could literally just I could take both these off. Sounds fine. It doesn't really sound that major of a difference. It's just minimal things I add on, like slight details. For these kind of synth fills, I am taking around the original sound file, which is like original sound file is this, and then I'm like taking it bits by pieces, not like anything like too specific. Like you can tell this isn't really set to anything. This is set. It fits in the 1-3 step kind of bias, but you don't need it set to anything. You can literally just do it offbeat as you want. If you could do like, you could do this, and then what I like to do for like making it sound like that, I take like a little bit of it, so I'll take like this, and I'll set it back to 1-3 step, just so I make sure I'm cutting it like right there. And then I can set it to like, E3 mono. So I could set it to this. I have it at none right now, so it's just like randomly going wherever. What I do is I Control B and it just duplicates over, and it's just repeating the same thing over and over, and it's stuttering. How do I create bass patterns? Creating bass patterns. So when you say creating bass patterns, what do you mean specifically? Like, do you mean like writing melody bass patterns, writing regular flows, anything like that? Like, so if you were talking about like the triplet kind of flow going on, it's literally just triplets. Like, if there's something that I find a lot fun with making music, it's going extremely smooth grain with like making triplets. So for the main synth, it is playing like an arpeggio, so it's going C, F6, C7, C6, and I'm having that loop over and over and over again. It gets really monotonous, but I like that. Sampler told me it's just bar after bar. How do you create variation? To create variation, it usually is bar after bar. I mean, I don't really do like bar after bar. Sometimes I do like quarter note. I'll base off the quarter note, so I'll have like oh cool, triplet, and I paste it constantly. For variation, I'll set it to triplets because this is triplets, and then I will like create different patterns inside of it. But the basis of it is still this basic triplet pattern. So it's going. My fucking god. So it's still going triplet. It's still doing the same thing for like the same 4 notes. So it goes triplet, 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 triplet. And then after a while, you'll notice that like constantly looping it over and over and over again gets like annoying. You kind of want more variation. So you'll do stuff like I don't really have like anything anywhere specific that I wanted it to like vary in. I just picked like something random, like whatever sounded best. What I like to do a lot is I like to loop things constantly and then listen to it and then see where it sounds best, like where I think it sounds naturally fine in my OCD to like have something else going on. So for this, it's, as you notice inside the triplet, if I go back to the bass shot, it has triplet. So this triplet by itself is playing like the basic like triplet pattern, like nothing like stuttering. Where is it? Here's one. Okay. There we go. My fucking PC is gonna show itself trying to comprehend one granulizer pack, but if I were to loop the same thing over and over again, just da, 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 da. But then you have the little stutter going on that's 2 times speed, and it's going faster. What I like to do is I like to just incorporate the same kind of like grid flow on all of it. So it's all triplets. That's the way I'll do it. I'll put it all in triplets. So it's not gonna go like 1/16 or go 1/8 or anything like that. It's just triplets, 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 triplets. See your use of disperser. Use of disperser. So I use this on the main synth. So, oh yeah, I actually forgot to finish doing it. So, since the song is based around the key of E, I have it set to E6. It doesn't. I'm not like specifically key tracking it. I'm just setting it to E6 and I'm calling it a day. Sometimes you can do like chord things, like you can do like E4. You do. Let me turn this on. You can, as you play around with the disperser on different octaves, you can tell like a difference from like how like thin it's starting to sound. You sometimes mess around with pinch. Pinch is really cool. But yeah, for this instance, I prefer like a really wet sound, so I got 2 dispersers. So this first one's playing E6, and the second one's playing E9, which is really high up. But it's incorporating more of a wet sound into it. What are your favorite keys to write your tracks in? Usually D, C sharp, and E. Sometimes F sharp or F, but for a top 3, those are. There's literally nothing going on in this like that's specific. It's literally just def 100, time 100, gain, whatever. It's not doing anything specific. These are all set to default options. It's just adding more emphasis on it. And you have the basic, you have reverb that's just playing like more laid out in the back. And holy shit, EQ. So, originally I thought this in. You can hear the obnoxious like low end in it. If you just play it alongside it, it sounds okay, but it sounds way too cluttered for most people's preferences. And then, what I like to do for cutting out low end is I like to set it to the specific key. So say I made a song in F. Pretty sure you can see this. I can't specifically look. Okay, I guess you can't see it. I can screenshot this if you want. But if you right-click a band, here, first of all, you want to mess around with this thing at the top that messes around with the bands a bit. I can make this bigger, yeah. There we go. Fucking giant ass EQ. So this thing is top right. It's moving around. It's setting it to high pass, set the band pass, low pass, stable, notch, low shelf, peaking, high shelf. I have it at high pass, so it cuts out the highs completely, and I have it set to steep 8, so it's intensely steep. Because if you have it set to like regular steep, like 2, then it's more like laid out, but it's more like firm uptight right here. So if I set it to F, you can right click the band, like the little circle right here. You can right click it, click key, and then set it, you'll see like F. It'll say like F2 83.3 HC, which is literally just taking out the low end. It's leaving a lot of like low mids, but it's not. It's taking out the low end, like the actual sub. How do you get soft brain? Smooth brain. How do you get smooth brain? You literally just stop caring, like, you just stop. Like, if it sounds bad, whatever. Like, that's why I feel like smooth brain with producing is just like doing whatever you want rather than what will sound good. And just working with it like that. So, smooth brain producing, some instances of smooth brain producing is like destroying the living fuck out of like things you wouldn't normally destroy. You can destroy like the shell of like a kick or whatever. Do you not sharpen or brick your cuts? I saw it rolled off low end wise. I mean, depending on what you're talking about when you say sharp cut or brick it, I'm pretty sure you mean like there's literally like 0 dB coming from out of all of this. That's what it should be doing. It should be like set that you shouldn't hear anything around here. You shouldn't hear mids, you shouldn't hear lows. You should literally just hear highs because it's just brick to the highs. This is what it was at by default. So all this first band is doing is just cutting out the lows. And you have a mid boost, you have a high mid boost, you have a high end boost, not high end boost. No, these are reductions, my bad. So this one's reducing, this one's reducing, this one's adding a little additional high end. These are the minimal details I talk about oftenly that does not matter. Like, it doesn't sound like it's doing that big of a difference if I were to... Which one is it? It is not this one. It's the first one. Where is it? Fucking there it is. So it's set to this. It's minimal things. It's just boosting high end. Boosting high end by the sliders. Steepness. Yeah. So, if there's one thing I am questioning actually right now, it's why the fuck... Okay, I think... Yep, that's it. I accidentally turned up the Paramedic EQ Master, like the general thing right here. I accidentally boosted it, so it sounded like distorted back then. I didn't know why. It sounded like that, and I didn't like that. I don't know why I did that. I have a 0 by default, by the way. I don't mess with this. I usually don't mess with that. You can mess with it if you want. It's literally just... all it does is it reduces and increases volume. That's all it does. I don't really think it matters. What type of ambience and effects you have going on in the drop. So, to usually fill out my music, I have... The first things I have is I have screeches. Reverb screeches. Which is, if I were to... There it is. Wait, no, it's not. Here it is. It's literally just that sine wave FM to another sine wave. Find out. This is it? Yep, that's it. Okay, my bad. It's a sine FM to a triangle. It's not that huge of a difference, but also is kind of at the same time. Because it's rolling a little bit more highs in. So, for the first octave, it's not doing anything. It's just a regular sub. If I took this and I mute it, it's just a regular sine wave. I doubt you can hear it that much as you should be because it's quiet and it's more in the mix, but it's just a sine wave. Sine wave. It's doing sine wave things. Sine wave, whatever. So then you have the screech. Let's reflect down. This is mic harsh. It's rising in pitch slightly to the precise amount, so if you have a default, it sounds like this. Having it at not 100% but rather 50% sets it to the regular pitch, but if you have it at 100%, it rises it up an octave as it would with like other envelopes in FL. Yeah, I use this thing a lot. There's a lot of songs I've done screeches in the background for. If anything, I don't think there is a song lately that I've made that does not have that kind of instance going on. But I think it sounds good. I like it, personally. For processing it, it's really simplistic processing in my opinion, but it can be complicated some. So I will try to break it down as slow as I can. We have Camel Crusher, Fought It. You have the smooth sound. The foot, it's full blast too. I'm pretty sure you can see that too. Yes, you can. It's full set blast distortion, and then you have an OTT on there. Nothing's changed about it. It's not raising the volume. It's balancing everything out a bit more. And then for reverb, it's not. This is the instance I had with the vocals in the intro. It's not all the way reverbed because I don't think it really should fit all the way like laid back in the mix. It should be a little bit more on flat. So I have it at 71.6. It's really short reverb. It's not tailed out reverb. It's literally size is really uptight. Decay is really uptight. So it just has the shortest tail you can get out of the reverb. Is that how you did the dual one? I'm pretty sure that's how I did the dual one. Once again, these are the casual things I do in songs. Like what we're going for right now is the casual stuff. Not the stuff that stands out specifically in the song, just like it's more of like a template to me. So, high passing. It is high pass to. It's high pass is set to. I think it's a E4. Yeah, E4. So it has, as you can see on the spectrogram, it doesn't really have as much miss as it has right here. Like I can probably set it to right here, and it's perfectly fine because it's not doing that. Sorry to ask again, but could you explain gain staging and stereo imaging in the mix? For stereo imaging, there is nothing I'm doing really that's like. So when I image stereo, it's not really like anything precise. It's like what I'll do is I will make my kick and sub mono. So kick is mono, mono hits front, easiest. Sub, if I have a song that's just a sine wave, it will be set to mono. But right here, as you see, it's not because it has white noise in the background. But if I were to just play by itself, it's completely mono. If I full force the image, there's nothing going on. No difference. But with the white noise, if I play the white noise, it adds stereo. So if I were to set it back normal, with mono, having it regular, having full stereo, that's wrong. Can we hear the screech in the mix? Yes, you can hear it in the mix. So in the mix, where is the sub? What the fuck? Fucking. So the way you hear it in the mix, you can hear that it's there. Like you can tell if you were not able to hear it and if you were able to hear it. So if you closely listen, you'll be like, oh yeah, I can hear the screws in the background. Tell you about this. Where is it? You can hear it in the background. It's not super present. It's not super in behind. It's kind of there. So the bass line is the only thing with stereo element in the mix. Not the only thing with stereo element in the mix. It's literally like everything else has stereo in it except for low end elements like kicks, sub. Intro Recess I prefer. So where is it? So this one? No, it's not this one. Here we go. I like to have these stereo mainly for the ideal of having like a more of like a nice bright mix in the intro. Like you could tell it has a bit more brightness having it stereo than it does have it mono. So if I were to where's it? There we go. So with it full stereo, I don't feel like it sounds that good. So I have it set to specifically 50 bars. So here's how to make machine gun bass. Machine gun bass. So it's the granulizer instances. We are using granulizer. So we're going to. So what makes it specifically a machine gun rather than just like an average synth? My computer is going to shit itself as expected. But if you have stuff like that, once again I prefer to have like a one shot, a little bit of attack, so it's not like it's not having a full on transient, but it's having a little bit of it. And what I like to do to have the transient stand out right there, or like rather make it sound a little bit more impactful than it does, I like to have the amount all the way up and then a short decay. You can have it like that, you can have it like this, you can have it like because if you have it like just like by itself like this, if you have it like that, it kind of sounds machine gun-ish, but it also doesn't. It's like it's the small things that matter in my opinion in this instance. The pitch envelope is what makes it sound like it's going up and down really fast. In terms of machine guns, it's what I tend to usually do. For the synth, all the attack, the hold, the grain spacing. The grain spacing is 50%, but the attack and hold are all the way up. The wave spacing is a little bit up. Like I like setting it to where I think it sounds best done. Sometimes you can do like ring modulation mix to change up the sound a bit. But yeah, for getting like a machine gun kind of bass, yeah, envelopes generally in FL are really, really, really helpful. I do it on subs. I'm pretty sure. No, I'm not doing it in this instance, I think. Right. Here we go, yeah. So, I mean, might as well hear in context. So, turn back on the master pitch. it's really helpful generally overall. You could do it on subs, you can do it on sims, you can do it on kicks, you can do it on anything. I just like having the little oomph rider and just like having the I like having the oomph to it. I like having like it. Like having it hit a little bit harder than it should. Yeah, the envelopes are really useful. Where do I get my hats? Hats. Vengeance. Usually Vengeance or random spice packs. But if you want really good packs to for like hats and stuff, Vengeance is the way to go. Usually Vengeance Electro. Is it Vengeance? No, it's Vengeance Essential Club. Essentials Club. So if I go to samples, I go to we have Vengeance. Here it is. No, that's not it. Fuck. So you'll have the symbols and you have open. Yep. I love Vengeance for the sole reason that they have a lot of these. Like they have a lot of stuff you can mess around with. It's more just sample selection and just rolling with like minimal processing, like some reverb, high. The alpha mode never goes to see. I usually use envelope one shot, just like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it doesn't really do that. It depends. Can you show or mention how you make those snares once? Make those snares once. Are you using a kick plus clap? I am using a kick plus clap. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I showed it off before, but it is a couple layers. We have the first layer, which is the attack layer. You have the attack at 40, really fast again. Just so, if you have it like this, it's doing a lot more than it should be. It's boosting a lot of stuff generally, but if you have it set to just like 500, it's going really fast. So, without it, it sounds like that. With it, it sounds more clicky. And it's just a high-end boost. Turned up a bit. And then, so all the stuff is being like, did they reach out to you about it? What was your discussion? For Noisia playing dual out, it was more so on Black Label's behalf. What Black Label does is they usually send music out to other artists and radios in terms of like promotion, which is also like a really like helpful thing I see generally is to set up like a promo list or something, just so you can send out like new music to like a lot of like generalized people that you have email access to. So if you have like email access to someone like Skrillex, for example, and you can like send out Skrillex music all the time, which I mean you'd probably be annoyed. I don't know that Skrillex is really big on receiving music, but that's like an instance of like
make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Like promo listing. Yes, it's more so in this case it was the label sending the music to Noisia for me, but it wasn't really me. But Noisia Radio does have a submission thing, like a Google submission thing on their SoundCloud, and that's how I've submitted music to them before in the past. I used to be like a little bit annoying about it, like resetting my songs over and over again, but they played out some stuff before I got on Never Should I, which I'm kind of grateful for in that instance. But now that I don't really make that kind of music that would make it on Noisia Radio oftenly, then whatever. Do you have any movement on your sub except sidechain? No, not for this song. For this song, so for the main sub is literally sustained. Like, oh my fucking god. This is why it's like a fucking showing off shit because I always keep on forgetting about having to, like, I can't, like, solo it perfectly because there's so much automation shit going on. I mean, I guess you could say there's a bit, like, if I were to... This is more so just FL, just being FL, but in reality, I had it like this before. So, it's playing pretty much a sustain. So, it'll move around like that because that's how subs tend to move around when the pattern's being repeated. But, this goes the same for the pre-drop. Well, not the pre-drop, more like the fake out. It's just sustains. This is moving around in notes. And then there's the 808 slide that. Where is it? Which is moving around. If I were to show off, it is. It's going up to a high E, so it's the slide thing is super useful. So you want to have it go really fast and you want that kind of sound. You can have it move up like slowly, go real fast, or you can like do just like none, so that to here. It's like really fast. It's just depending on how long this note right here is. That's how long it will take for point A to get to point B. But you have to keep this. You have to keep this on because if I were to just like, if I just did this, then it wouldn't play. The slide note is like what it moves up to. So you want to keep this on, and you want to have it sliding up. Hopefully that makes sense. Over past while where can I find them things? Do you still recommend it as a career? I don't. Personally, I don't recommend dubstep as a career, to be brutally honest, because I don't feel like this is really the best time to be grinding out as a career, because I feel like some essentials in dubstep are missing. Like, shows take a huge role, in my opinion. But, I would say just keep it more as fun. I mean, you don't really want to. A lot of artists I've talked to still live with the moms. I mean, yeah, a lot of producers these days are younger. Like, you have like 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. You have like anyone that's like literally like under legal age, and I feel like they don't really see it as like, oh, I want to make it in the music industry. I just want to have fun. In the end, I really think that's a healthy mindset too, is that you should just have fun. 2016, I wasn't really that into music. That was like when I started. I started like 2015, 2016. And that's, that was really not like the time I was deep dived into dubstep. I was more just like having fun then. That's when I got into music, or like producing stuff. But I've heard from people that 2016 was a really good time, so I wouldn't doubt it for sure. It does seem like a good time. Is there any more questions directed towards Derma Crush that anyone would like answered? Because I would like to get moving on to the next project, but I don't know if there's anything people would like to see specifically that I haven't went through yet. I'll leave the project open for a bit. Just kind of like answer a little bit of questions and see if anyone has like any more questions. I can do anything. I can show you anything. I'm pretty sure I've gone through like the main like interest of the song, like the drop sims, the drop, the automations, what the automations are doing, kind of like the processing of it. But if you need anything described, then I can do that. How many layers are on the bass? There is 2. For if you mean in terms of sims, there is 2. there is the main bass, which is, oh my god. So you have the main bass. Okay, what the fuck? Oh, I'm a fucking dumbass. Okay, here we go. I should be fine with something like this. So you have this main bass. And then you have the background bass, which is... Usually I don't tend to layer that much, but... Of your drums. Do you make buses of your drums? Not usually. Sometimes I like to have like separators on the drums, but it's not really often that I like to have anything like bust intensely, like bust into like saturation or whatever. It's more just like letting it all play through the mix. If we have extra time, I can show dual, but that's not like what I'm originally intending to show off. Do you always convert to audio? Not always. It's more 50-50. I'm 50-50 with converting to audio. I convert when I feel like it's best. Vengeance packs, yeah. Yeah, they have... Vengeance has... I feel like they have more packs than 5. They have like a couple, like... It's more of like what you want. Like, I think there's 5 dubstep packs, but... They have like a couple like packs outside of dubstep, like the club packs or whatever, that also sound really good in the context of dubstep. It's more so what you are interested in. Yeah. Any idea how to get shit done? I mean, what I tend to do sometimes when it comes to like finishing music, I tend to usually just cut off my internet and just work like offline, like off the grid kind of thing. And then I go back online whenever I'm like actually like I feel like I'm content with working on for now. I don't get my workflow, it's like really like bipolar. It's like sometimes I'll get on a song in one day, sometimes I'll get on a song in like a week. Sometimes it'll probably take like a couple months here. Who knows? How many songs have you made in Ableton? 1. I have made 1. I use Ableton here and there for sound design, but I don't tend to use it like often. If that makes sense. Mercura. Yeah, I guess it's Mercura time. I didn't see any other questions in regards to Derma, so in the end, if I get Mercura broke down really fast, I can try to go back to Derma and pull up whatever people are curious about. But we could, yeah. As it titles in the stream, as it should say, it's a unreleased song. The song has not been out yet. It's gonna be releasing soon, definitely, but it's not out yet. It has release plans. New question for Mixon: how do you get your audio levels to sit well in the mix? You used to use Ableton when more most. I use Ableton more so for the OTT and the vocoder. I feel like the vocoder and the OTT are like some of my favorite things in terms of how they sound in Ableton. I tend to mess around with those. And I'll like save the sounds and I'll bounce them out and I'll use them later on in FL. Yeah. New question for mix sound: how do you get all your levels to sit well in the mix? For stuff sitting well in the mix, what I find is the most helpful is constantly like looping back on what you're doing and like playing through as you mix it down. Like, for example, if you just like play like a 5-bar loop and then you like move around a kick and you see what sounds best, I feel like that's like the easiest way to go around. Do you know how to make bad face screeches? Bad face screeches, yes. I could show that off really fast. Like the bad face screech, I don't feel like it's that complex of a sound. I can easily show it off real quick. Let's try Citrus. We'll do this before we'll do this before we get into the current project. So, pitch down. You have a regular pitch stub. You have the operator 2. So what this operator 1 is doing, it's just a sine wave. It's sitting as a sine wave. It's not moving around pitch or anything. It's just sitting there. And then you have the second layer, which is the higher up sub. Well, not the higher up sub, the higher up sound. So what you want to do is you want to move around the pitch and the volume to get how you want it to sound. So I like having it sound like right here, and having it not like super piercing or like too present in comparison to the sub. Then no, it's not. Okay, so go to pitch, go to LFO. Just delete everything that's there except for like this. You can keep this if you want to like rise up there. You just want it like right here. Turn it on first of all. This thing right here is how you turn it on. Yeah, you set the speed book. Set the TNS right next to the speed. Is how you set the like a square wave. So if I were to zoom in, it goes from triangle to square, and you have like a sine right here too, like a really thick sine. And then the other way around is doing that. So if you want to be as square as possible, you can do this. You can do this too. Roughens the edges a bit. What stuff is that? It is Citrus. Citrus for FL Studio. Citrus for FL Studio. You can get it as a third party too. If you go on the ImageLine site, they have a lot of their like famous plugins for sale. They have Harmor for sale as a third party. They have Codex, some basic processing plugins like Grossbeat, Wave Shaper, and Citrus. Citrus is one of them. So I don't really limit myself in terms of like how fast the speed goes. I just like having it like somewhere around triplets. So it'll be like right here. So if I set this back to normal, it's just a. I mean, of course, here, turn it off. It's just a sustain. Then you move it up all the way. It's having like a square LFO of the pitch, so it's like messing around with the pitch. You also pitch up like an octave. What seems to be like the often thing, what was that website? They get the third party plugins. I will provide it in 1 second. ImageLine. Let's see. Shop. Plugins. Alright. Here. There you go. If you want the direct link, there it is. Oh shit. Oh wait. I don't think that's the right link. If that's not the right link, then this should be. Because it's this page not found. This is going to be recorded. Yes, this will be recorded, Eric. Also, what's up? If you're even staying in the stream, I don't know if you just came in to say that in me, but if you didn't, what's up? So, the speed it's at right now is at like 1.37. This is as close as you can get to like triplets in 140 BPM. Maybe like 145, something a bit faster. But yeah, it's like a little speed run of how to make it sound. Sometimes you can like distort it. Sometimes you can mess around with this. I see a lot of people like messing around with it, like doing like this. It's just around for a bit. How to make bad dream kind of sounds. It took me to the gates of heaven, that's the right thing. The second one is the right link. The one that says oops arrow 404 is not the right one. Yeah. I guess I can break down this project now. I kind of just like speed around how to make a bad phase laser. I can also like do it again and then like send a patch if you want like a patch. you want to see how to specifically do it, but I will save that for later. For now, I am going to play the song, and I'm going to break down it a bit. I'm just going to play the intro to the drop, maybe skim through it a bit. Okay. Play the full song. Alright. Well, so the thing is, I don't want to play out all the way. I'd rather get into it as soon as possible. But this is pretty much let's play the drop concepts. The structure is basically it goes from straight to melody into this part. And the second drop is pretty cool. I didn't do too much for it, but it's a cool variation, I'd say. And it loops back into the same part. So, what we could start is... Let's see, sound design walkthrough, please. Yes, I will break down the sound design. That is definitely one of the main things I am doing. So, let's see. How do you make so good and follow the notes? It's a separate track. So, we're going to start from first to second, to third, to fourth, to fifth, to sixth, whatever. So, starting off, I'm going to tell you about the Dri sound as requested by Odin. I don't know if you pronounced your name right, but I'm going to find the right one. There's fucking 9 million instances. That's not the right one. There it is. Maybe it'll load this time. It's loaded! There we go. You should be able to see it. Let's go. I will give it a bit. So, oh yeah, you can see all of them fine. So, this is a preset I use. I didn't really find it that important to make an acid sound, but if I wanted to, I can literally make an acid sound. It's not hard to make an acid sound in my opinion. It's just it's kind of a basic process. So, basic MG, relative square. The sub part isn't really important. By default, it sounds like this. So it has the sub in the background, but since I EQ'd it out, it doesn't matter as much. So I could just take it off, whatever. So envelope 2. It's a really fast movement. It's really fast. So what envelope 2 is doing is only moving one thing in this instance. It would be moving 2 things, but since the sub is muted, so will you get rid of? Just remove it. It's just doing one thing. So by itself, just sounds like a basic shape, square pulse kind of sound. if I were to bypass this, it has a lot of resonance. Oh my god, I fucked it up. There we go. Perfect. So, without it sounds like this, but what mainly takes part in making a dri kind of thing. Yeah, you can use acid wavetable too. It depends. I mean, you can. Obviously, acid wavetable is like the shortcut for it, but like, you can also do like something like a square wave, or a saw wave, or a sine wave, or something like that, and just be content with the fact that like you're using something like custom. You can mess around with that later on rather than just having acid wavetable. But it is up to you in the end. So, yeah, high resonance. You can move this around how you want. You can like. This is pretty cool. Yeah. So around here is just where it sounds perfect. For variation, you can try like higher up. Serum blew up laptop. Did it blow up laptop? Should be fine. Yeah, yeah, should be fine. Here, I'll play around the sound effect. Should be fine. It's setting at medium CPU right now. I shouldn't have a huge issue. So for the intro, it's a little bit, not a little bit, but it's just playing like the basic melody of it. But there's a die structure on the master. What the die structure is doing is there's a comb. The cutoff is going up. So if I were to show off the, here we go, the filter cutoff. So up here it sounds normal, but it sounds like it's like rising up in combs, and which it really is doing. When you sound design, do you use presets or do you tweak them or start from scratch? It's both. It really depends on what song I'm doing, what song you could be talking about, or what like I could be doing at that occasion. But sometimes I like to do presets and just tweak them around. Sometimes I like to do the opposite. You know, make them sounds, mess around with it, whatever. Sometimes I like to drag samples in, mess around with samples. But yeah, so speaker, it's like speaker is playing like a amp kind of sound to it. So if I were to play it with us, it sounds like it's like more in the back. And then there's a background. Obviously, it sounds different because I messed around with the patch a bit. It's not the fucking sound I wanted. It's default. No. I wish I was better at labeling shit. I hate having to just randomly go through and do this. So this is I like the sound a lot actually. Like I like incorporating this kind of sound into music. So what it is it's like if I go pitch it down, it's a square wave, but it's detuned. So what I usually do is that I set the unison to 2, so it's literally just 2 voices playing. See, with the pan, if you turn it off, it gives off a different detune kind of sound than it would with this, because the detuning is coming from stereo in this instance. But if I just made it completely mono, it's playing completely like no stereo. It's just detuning from mono. And it's it's literally a basic sound like this. Pretty much it. Besides there's a pitch going up. That is another thing I can show off. So the pitch is going up a specific octave. I don't know which octave this is. This is moving up 4 octaves. So if I mute it, it's just a basic square, but it's meant to be played in the context of this. And then for the processing, it's turn this off. It's just little delays to back. I set it to 21 because I like more tighter up delay rather than like laid back delay. I like the. I feel like this really fitted. I feel like something like this fitted instead. A little bit is the offset is set all the way over here. Without that, it sounds more mono-ish relatively. Basically, what the delay and reverb is doing is it's adding the obvious effects of delay and reverb, like in the back. But also, it's giving it more stereo because without it, it's complete. I'm pretty sure it's completely mono. Yeah, it's completely mono. But with these, it gets the basic sound of the stereo. And there's OTT halfway through. It's not like this is like I forget what I was showing off before. But there's a sound I was showing off before where it kind of looked like this, where it's like halfway and the time is like almost up. Like it's not 100, but it's 500. So it's not doing it too much, but it's also doing a bit. And then basic high passing, turning on the highs a bit because I felt like the highs were a bit too harsh. A little bit of mid boost because I thought it could use a little bit more of an oomph around this part, around 2000. And then there's basic cutoff again. It's, yep, that's key, C sharp, C3, not C3 actually, fucking what am I talking about? It is C sharp 4. Yeah, that's not the right one. There we go. And then JC clip and camel crusher, more saturating it than distorting it. It's compressing it a bit more in the mix. So now it's more upfront, rather, because if I sounds quiet, loud. That's all it's doing is just making it loud. Doesn't really sound like it's doing anything to the tails or anything. It's just doing that. Another thing, this is the main sub for the intro, which is actually, it's actually kind of funny because this isn't that good of a sound. It just sounds like, in context, it sounds like garbage. This really crunchy sound without the shit on it. Sounds like a really crappy like bass. It's basic shapes and matrix C64 moved up to 7 FM to a saw wave. The saw wave isn't moving at all. It's like not present besides the FM. And then there's detuning. Well, this is hyper, but in a sense it is kind of detuning as well. And then there's multiband, turning on the low end a bit, but nothing else is being moved besides that. Gain's a bit up. And then reverb filter. Reverb filter is the main thing that takes part of the sound. Is there a specific key you usually write in? Yeah, I mean, I usually write in like the specific dedicated key, so if I think something sounds good in like, for instance, F, then I make everything in F. I don't really have any like off-key elements unless it's like, oh, it's just like a 7 for a 5th. You know, something like F to C or something like that, or C to G. Just so it's like all like relatively in the same key and it's perfect. So reverb filter set to 180 Hertz. It's not like full presence. It's a bit laid back. So it still has some of the original crunchiness like this, while having the reverb filter crunchiness. And then It is this one. That's definitely not that one. Which one is it? It's this one. So the reason why it says short analog C808 is because originally it was an 808, but sound guidizer default. It's not slammed all the way this time, which is surprising, but whatever. This EQ is set to reduce the high ends and most mids, besides like what it's designated at. So this is if you go to right click, key, C sharp 3, which is 138.6 hertz, and it's set to that. And this is a high shelf, so it's just reducing highs. But as you notice, I turn up a highs a bit over here too, because I thought it could use like the slight trickles of high over here. Did you play any instruments or know music theory before you started producing? No. I got into playing like piano or like organ, like a little bit into making music. Like I'd say like 6 months ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know how long it's been, but I got into playing like organ, piano. I'm not like insanely good or anything. It's more just like a for fun kind of thing. And most of the times it's just me producing. I don't know music theory, and I don't think I ever will because my brain can't handle any kind of stuff. For the wave shaper, what I like to do usually for wave shaping is I like to customly like shape out my wave shaper. So if I have it like this, it does nothing. If you turn up the parade, it just makes it louder into a hard clipper. But if you set up to like here, it does the same thing, but it's also like boosting right there. So say you had a default and you had the pre pushed all the way, and you're like, I want more distortion out of this or more crunchiness out of this. You can set up a second point by right clicking anywhere. You can right click here, and then you set that back to default. Default. Wait, that's up. Okay, maybe I didn't. I am fucking stupid. There we go. So I thought I could use a little bit more push than what it did. So I set it up to here. I have it on grid. I don't like having stuff like off grid usually. And then it's full pushed all the way. So originally that's what I did with the sound. I was like, I had it like this, and I was like, I could use a little bit more push into it. So then I added a point up here. I was like, this sounds perfect. There's small high shelf, small high cut, small different. This is the small changes. It's not really doing too much besides. Actually, this one is doing more. It's doing a fair bit, but this literally does nothing. I mean, if it does if you do it like this, but it sounds bad. But the way it's sitting right here, it's doing pretty much nothing. Thoughts on GPing to school for this? GPing to school. I mean, I don't know. I can't really say I have my thoughts on it because I never attended any kind of classes or anything like that before. I'm more just just learned. I just learned as I made music. How did you learn to produce, and what in your opinion, what's the best way for any producer to enhance their knowledge? So I learned to produce more of like watching. Plus, I'm going to school for this. Going to school for making music. It's not really a bad idea, but it more so depends if you actually need to go to school for it. Like if you feel like what you're learning online, like if you're searching up videos and you're doing all this, that doesn't really help you. You can try going to school, or go to school at all if you feel like that's going to be perfect. But it's up to you. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I've known some people that went to Icon, which is like a famous like LA music place, where people learn basics of music like theory and all that. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I've seen some people push out some pretty decent stuff for being at a music school. How do I learn to produce? I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff like that. Like I was that kind of person that went to watch like virtual riot streams or seamless stuff or anything like that, and that's kind of how I learned. I never really like paid for anything. I just watched what I found online. I also, if you want, this could apply to both questions you have, Chris. But you can, for learning to produce, I made friends and I kind of like learned from the way they make music, and that also applies to how you can enhance your knowledge, because I do learn, I learn a lot every day. I constantly learn, I learn and learn and learn from watching my friends make music, and, Discord calls and stuff. I've learned, I don't think there's, a day in being, on Discord or anything like that, or, talking to my friends, where I haven't learned something cool about, something like FL, or learning sound design, or learning that this could sound good, cutting off your high end or something like that. Technique. A lot of people everywhere have techniques, and if you're able to learn techniques from other people, then that kind of stuff can go a long way if you actually memorize what they do and stuff like that. For instance, you could probably learn some stuff from the stream, which hopefully you are doing. Hopefully I'm helping out in this kind of case, but I feel like the Fire is also a really good way of learning how to make music. What's his tutorials on? Tutorials are more based in FL. His tutorials are more Citrus and Harmor, that kind of stuff, but he also does basic FL stuff. I'm pretty sure he's breaking down stuff on Granulizer, stuff on anything, but he's more based around Harmless and that kind of stuff. And I think what he's done for people in the music community is really helpful. Some people might think his tutorials aren't that good, but I feel like they're really helpful for learning the basics of stuff. So I think I got some questions out of the way. Any recommendations on making high-pitched basses like Bad Dreams or sounds that are similar? For Bad Dreams, for the main bass I made in that, it was a square wave of I could do this real quick and then I'm going to go back to Makura. So I went to default. What you could do is you can make a basic slope in the bass, a one shot, as you did as you can do in Granulizer or something And then the main thing I did with this bass is it was a crude low pass with the low pass filter up. Maybe obviously that isn't the Bad Dream sound. There's more processing to it, but one of the main things that took part in the song is the resonance. It was very intense resonating and processing, of course. And yeah, I just thought the sound was cool, so I made a song for it. What happened to Sinister 6? Sinister 6 kind of just disbanded. I don't really feel like discussing what exactly happened on stream, because it's more of personal information, if you may. And it'd be great if people could respect the privacy of people not talking about it from Sinister 6, like Neonix and Sizzy and all this. We just preferred not to really talk about it. It's more just something that we're yeah, that happened. Not, I don't know. It's a little bit of a touchy subject too when it comes to specific people. But once again, I don't wish to talk about it in depth. All I can say is that we disbanded and that's such. Okay. Yeah, we are going to go back into the song. I accidentally opened Opera. Fucking. So, basic intro stuff. Filling out the intro. We have. Move this. So, one of the main things that was really essential to filling out the background, more specifically, was the. What is it called? Shepherd's tone? Yeah, shepherd's tone. There's a shepherd's tone in the background. If I can. It should be hard to mute everything here. This is a little bit more of a simplistic project in comparison to Thermal Crush. Is it not playing? Where is it? What the hell? I don't know what I'm missing. It should be this song, right? Is it not on? No, it's on. I think I just... Oh! Okay, wait, no. So, it goes further in here. It's not filled in that part, but it's there. It's just a basic shepherd's tone. So without it, it sounds like this. And with it, it sounds like this. It's rising in pitch constantly. We did this for Discotheque too, and it was really good. What's the arrows of the fancy... The arrows of the fancy fill. Really helpful thing. Where is it? Where is it? Go up. Fancy fill. So, it is transient bleeding, is the clicking mode. So, without it... Oh my god. Fucking hell. So without it, it randomly cuts out like that. Which is... It's not a bad sound, like, really, but I prefer to have it run a little bit more smoother. Yeah, it just has like a lot of clicking going on and stuff like that. But with transient bleeding on, it sort of fades out a bit, so it's a lot it's a lot fair transition wise. Helps a lot. So we have the white noise right again in here, but it's just playing. It's not playing like constantly in the intro. It's just playing like once every 2 bars. You have the reverse ride to bring in a little bit more tension. Yeah, basic clap. Oh, okay. Another cool thing. By itself, sounds like that. Similar clap processing like earlier. Transient tack all the way up. Speed 500. Sustain a little bit down. Reverb vocodecs. Gain is a bit up. I could have done this myself, but I don't know why I use gain. Whatever. Maybe you can see that? Yes, you can see that. Perfect. So, what this is doing is it's giving off the clap reverb effect. Some of you might know this kind of sound from like stuff like Spaz, but it's like a basic reverb, reverb dub slap, echo dub slap respring, and RV700 MK2 reverb. But it's like it's doing like the basic sound. I thought it was really cool at the time to use. Are those claps and drums from the Vengeance pack? I am pretty sure they're not. This one's from a random like trap sample pack, but this is like, once again, this is like a really cliche clap. Like you'll probably find this if you just search up like r/drum kits and you download some random drum pack. Not that I advise you to look there. Sort of rather look somewhere like Splice or something. Somewhere a bit more like legal. But yeah, it's just a basic clap. You'll probably find it in a lot of like trap bass or drum packs. The hi-hats are Laxity. Laxity sample pack is really good actually. Has some really nice stuff in it. The only thing Vengeance related, I'm pretty sure, is just this clap. It's the little pre-shift. I use this once every 2 bars too, alongside the white noise riser. So for the offbeat chants, it's two sorts of chants mixed together. You have this is a decap chant, and then this is a randomly cut out part from the Paso Acapella, in which, I mean, I don't know, I've put it in substitute acapella, and not so long ago. Well, not long ago. It was like probably like, I don't know how long it was, but it was around the time we started talking. He sent me like some stems and stuff. It came along with it. I don't know if he's still selling this kind of stuff, but yeah, I mean, you can get chants anywhere. You can like get for decap packs. Decap packs have a lot. You can record them yourself. Like, what more so matters about it is like pitching around and messing around with the sample, with sample manipulation and processing. For this one, I use like a little bit of delay, and a stereo delay too, because it has like this. I thought this was too much, so I turned it down to like 70%. How do you get drums to truly sound in the mix without mudding up the whole mixing? Should you EQ drums at all? Yes, you should EQ drums. I highly advise EQing drums generally. For getting them to stand out in the mix, there's numerous ways you can do it. You can have really rough side chain. You can boost your, you can gain stage your kicks to hit really hard in the mix. For this, I used Sound Geyser. It's halfway. I'm pretty sure this is like literally halfway. Low pass. It's not like it really matters. I just wanted it to like be a little bit more softer than what it was. 50%, 291% speed. So it's just like without it, it sounds a little bit softer, but at 50% hits. And there's another transient shaper. What this is doing is turning down the tail a bit. So with it, there's a little bit of a low end tail. Without it, well, no, with it, it stops relatively really fast, and there's a little bit more attack transit to it, and sensitivity is all the way up, and it's boosting all the way. This is a free plugin. I'm pretty sure this is like one of the few free plugins that actually shows off. But Transpire is really good if you don't have money for kilohertz transient shaper. I feel like it's like the perfect like make do for transient shaper. It's really clean, really nice sound. I used to use it before I got the kilohertz transient shaper, which is why I use it from here and there. God damn it! Fucking open Opera again. Yes. Alright, I mean, same kind of thing I was doing with Democrush, where it's vocodics reverb and the EQ. EQ is high passing all the way. The only thing that I really did do different is I put a transient shaper this time, and what the transient shaper is doing is it's cutting off the attack a bit, so it approaches a little bit more softer than what it should be. It's not intensely hitting, it's like more laid back. And the reason why I'm using 2 layers for it, if I can fucking, yeah. So you have the lower layer, and then you have the higher layer. The higher layer is the same thing except it's pitched up an octave, or stretched up an octave, but it's still playing an octave higher. What do you do when you're feeling creatively blocked? Usually take breaks. I mean, I don't really attempt to make music when I know for sure that I'm on a block. I more so just like give it a break a bit, and I wait for like another surge of like ideas coming through my head, and like try to do it. I've still struggled a lot with writer's block, to be honest. So it's not like I can really help too much in terms of like giving people advice. But what I would say is just give it time. Like, don't keep on constantly forcing it. For effects, it's a lot of Vengeance stuff again. You have Vengeance Downriser, Downlifter. There's a ride playing in the background. Every time the clap hits every 4 bars, you have the uplifter up here. You have another one too. And then the transition one. Which transition things. I find it hard to make kicks without punching enough. Anytime I sort of have to turn it down, which makes it lose impact. Well, the thing is, you shouldn't really I don't really think you should focus on specifically drums when it comes to mixing a kick really well. It could be basically revolving around everything else in the mix, which is why I like doing pre-shift sidechain. So it gives it a little bit more room before the next drum hits. So like it stops it down and brings it down a bit really fast. And it helps the next one come in a little bit more stronger. Especially because sometimes automation clips tend to blend into each other by default. It's like an error kind of thing. Yeah. Pretty much most of these drums, it's just like stuff I got off the splice, like Laxity, Hyperbits. They just make a duplicate. They're fucking beautiful. Another Laxity sample. The White Noise Ride. And Vengeance. I mean, I don't really use anything too different when it comes to like making music. I'll use like pretty much a lot of the same kind of like packs. So I have V-Dub 3, Crash. I thought this Crash is pretty simplistic enough to just like use. I shorten the tail a bit, of course. Like it's shortened all the way. With it sounds like that. With that, it sounds like a little like sounds like an open hat kind of thing. It's transpired only for Windows. I would not know if it was for Mac or not because I do not use Mac. I only use Windows. But let's see, Transpire. Transpire ST. Let's see. Where the hell is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only for Windows. But you can also make do with all kind of like. To be fair, I don't think I've seen any transient shapers that are like bad in a sense or like don't work that well. Like the default FL1 is pretty good. I'm pretty sure Ableton has some sort of like transient shaper or like some kind of thing like that. Not that I would know. Something that would help your drums punch through. So yeah, more so like you don't necessarily need what other people have. You can just like try to make do with what you have. Yeah. So you have the clap fills again. And, I'm pretty sure Jordan asked this earlier, but so transient shaper does what exactly? So for drums, you have like a attack transient, you have the body transient, and you have the tail of the drum. And what every transient shaper should kind of look like is like this. It should have like attack, something for the body. So it's like attack, body, sustain. Sustain is like the tail. So if you turn this all the way down, your kick goes a little bit shorter. If you turn this up, your kick gets more funkier because it has like you're extending the tail of it. But the thing is that it's more based off of the speed. So if the speed is set all the way, then it's going really fast. If it's set back, then it's more so depending on what kind of kick you have. If you have a long kick, go for something longer. If you have a really like small kick, like I usually do, like I usually have like something that lasts like a 16th and a half, then go for something like relatively faster. But I don't think I've ever seen instances in dubstep or anything near dubstep where people are using like really long kicks. That's which is a cool idea as it is. So, back into the breakdown. There's a hard style kick. I'm afraid I can't really show off like how I made the sound, but it's like something I've had in my sample library for a while now that I randomly made out of watching a YouTube video on how to make hard style kicks in FL. I kind of just made that, and then what I'm doing here is it's pitch stretch to hit C sharp. So without this, it sounds like what the original sample would sound like if it was just pitched down. And that's not it. There's so the main aspect of what makes it sound cool. The main aspect of what makes it sound like crunchy again is just running through distortion again. So I have the sound geyser default options. This is what a sound geyser should look like once you like literally just open it up off the bat. And then you have distortion. I have a little bit of dynamics, a little bit of spread. Without the spread, it's mono. With the spread, it adds stereo to it. Dynamics don't really matter. Like you can play it like this, you can play it like this, or you can play it like in the middle, and you don't really hear a difference. It's more so how much you drive it. See, laid back like that, doesn't sound like there is any distortion going on. If you have it like set to 11 or something, it's really, really crunchy. This time around, I didn't really use like a transient shaper to make it hit harder or like anything like to make it hit a lot more tenser in the mix. I used EQ. So without the EQ, the main thing I found sufficient was the mid boost. Like this, it sounds cool, but I wanted the more like MIDI hard style kick. So I turned this up by 5.0 dB. Thought it sounds like this one. It's mainly hitting that fifth.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
Fifth harmonic kind of going on. Not really like fifth, like I don't know how to describe it. It's like that secondary harmonic in the mid's going on. You have the obligatory high end boost. Without it, sounds okay. Just small things. For this, I felt like this was a little bit too much. Like it hit a little bit too hard in that specific area, so I turned it down like 3 dB. And that sounded fine to me. Similar instance of wave shaper as I did for the intro synth. Well, not the intro synth, the intro bass, where it's really crunchy and it's really like pushed. So I set this like up to all the way over here, just to get to like distort really hard, as hard style kicks usually are. This thing isn't doing anything yet again. It's just minimal changes. I like the way it sounds. That's whatever. I'm a very oscillative focused kind of person, so that's why I tend to do stuff like that. Plus, it sounds a little bit more clear than it does by default. You have the effects. So one of the main things is that the background is being filled a bit alongside a Reese, which is you have the aim break, it's just an aim break just sped down to 140. You have the Reese. I can show how to make a Reese, but it's relatively easy. Like Harmer is probably one of the best plugins you can use to make a Reese. You have the same elements as the intro. And then you have atmosphere in the back. This is from the Akeos Soundscape sample pack. It's being trenched in reverb, so without it sounds like this. Sounds like pulse stretch. But if you have reverb sitting in the back, it sounds like it doesn't really sound like it has pulse stretch on it or any kind of stretch on it at all. It sounds like it's just like really in the back because it gets rid of that sound that sounds like it's stretching. If that makes sense. I just realized like the way I kind of like explained that some like smooth brain, but also it's not completely off from me being a smooth brain. But I like having a better like way down the mix and like trench the reverb if it's atmosphere wise. You still have the effects sitting in the background as the build comes through. I have the snare sitting here to where is the sounds? So what I thought was cool is having like the kick play alongside like in syncopation to the acid bass. So it goes dun dun. I thought this was a pretty cool feel, just like having the same feel as the intro right over here. This one. Having it play I thought having it here while it transitions into the build is a cool idea. The sidechain here isn't really necessary. Like, it sounds fine without it. It sounds fine with it. It's more of just making it a little bit more present. But it's smooth brain. Smooth brain is being stupid. Being stupid or not having any brain at all. Just naturally not being the wisest you could be at the time. For the build, there's snare 1, which is like the snare that rises up in volume. You can't really hear it that much because it's just like, where is it? Here we go. It's this one. So it's just like it's slowly rising up, but what the main focus in the build is the pre-shift clap by using the intro. It's playing constantly quarter notes. I have the hard style kick playing here, of course. What I like doing for tensions in build is having the pitch move around. So in this instance, pretty much everything melodic-wise, like the intro synths and all that, you see right here, the atmosphere is going down the pitch, the hard style kicks going down the pitch, the general master is going down the pitch. So pretty much everything besides the drums are going down the pitch. Is this the second track? Yeah, this is the second track. I'm pretty sure I've sent you this before, Dave. But I can send it after the stream. But I'd rather prefer to just get this, like, rather just keep going with this and get it over with than to stop and replay. Plus, we're pretty much about to get to, like, the main elements of, like, what people actually want. I'm just doing, like, everything I feel like doing. So this is what it sounds like when the pitch is going down. I have some stuff like low pass before the kick hits, because I like having stuff like come in, go away, come in, go away. And the way I like to go about making stuff come in and go away is modulation X, which is basically like a low pass-ish kind of thing for FL. You could do like low pass filter in Ableton, or you could do like volume. I'm doing volume too. So that's how I make stuff come in and how I make it go away. So, yeah. And then random laser fill. This is another instance of me repeating the same sample. Like that. And then it's the same fill as earlier. except it's playing like a different so that's the entire sample. I'm just taking out like specific parts and using them in different instances. Reverse kick, definitely I feel like reverse kicks help make stuff come in a little bit more. Also, to help the build be a little bit more present in terms of like having it kick, I made a new instance of the kick that's pitched up an octave in comparison to the original. And I have it turned down a little bit, so if I have to play like this, I don't really like that way it sounds. So I turn it down right here. You can hear it, but also it's still laid back. So the hard saw kick is still the main focus in that part, while having additional things support it. Okay, I guess we could do the drop. I broke down the cymbals a bit because they're pretty much the same as the intro. But I feel like the main thing with the song with the drop, is the general effects around the main synth. So what I have is controlled reverb over here. So if I play these, not like that. I have this. Let's zoom. Oh my fucking god. There's so much shit. So much. I wish there was a way you can keep the. Well, actually, maybe there is, but I haven't realized it yet. But I wish there was a way you can have these all grouped in and just they can't be muted. So it's literally just whenever I mute stuff, it's everything but that. But now that I have the basic synth out, I have controlled reverb. Let's turn off all the sublayers. I'm using more sublayers than this one. Again, sauce layer. Oh, there's one more sublayer. Where is it? Which one? That's it. Yeah, you can group tag channels, but oh my god, shut up. You can group tag channels, but I don't know if you can set it to where it can it doesn't get muted no matter how many times you solo and unsolo something. I'm pretty sure that's not possible, but I could be also wrong. So for the synth, I took a synth I made in another song, and I kind of just messed around with it a bit. It kind of sounds like that song. These aren't being used at all. These are just kind of rendered useless. So what's going on is, which one is it? You start from. We can. What the fuck? I don't know what 4 is set to. Smooth brain. Pretty sure whatever's. 3 is one that mainly takes part. So what this is doing is it's adding a little low pass thing. While there's another low pass. So there's 2 low pass ran through. Just to have a whoppy effect to it. I don't think it really matters, but no, never mind. So this one is running for a different amount of time. Use alphas or chop up the sound for variation. Chop out the sound. That's usually what I do. Chopping up the sound is what I do. So originally it's pattern. So originally the pattern is not this. This is playing a coordinate, but I arrange it through playlist, so it goes. So I have it messing around with the flow over here. This is how I make most of my music, is arranging it through here. So basic FM, basic mini. I have the relatively square sounding one. set to a saw, which is just, it's literally just saw to square fin. These, the pitches up here aren't doing anything right here, but they're macros set to like automate layer on the song. So I have this coming in layer, I have this coming in layer, this coming in layer. Nothing's happening there. Hold up, is making that alpha one help with setting the rate or of the sound faster and cleaner, if that makes sense? Yes, it does. That's pretty much exactly what it does. I'm late. Did you already go over your sub? Of the Portamento song, they always stand out and hype the track. Not for this project. For this project, I am doing a synth right now, but I'm about to go into like the general like drop synth kind of stuff. So I'll definitely do some. This song is an instance of me doing the gluing to my sidechain bus kind of thing. So everything is routed to track 5. Track 5 is set to note to T, a little bit of a high end boost, a little bit of a low end boost. It's set to Fruity Bounce. Fruity Bounce is automating the volume really easily. And it's a limiter that's like hard clipping all. So it's all being like blued up a bit. Like without it, obviously the OTT is essential, but I also used the limiter to like saturate and boost it. So yeah. If there's any additional questions about the synth, feel free to shoot anything. I don't know really what people are looking for when they want to break down the synth. How you do anything. So for sub, it's a little bit of attack, a little bit of a DK. So it ends like, I'd say this ends like a little bit past the half bars. Ends like almost a full bar. Maybe a little bit over actually. Who knows? This, before you ask, this isn't doing anything. I don't know what this is or why it's there. It's doing nothing. So, without the secondary harmonic, it sounds like this. Sounds like a basic kind of sine. And then I turned the fifth up. So originally, you should be playing it like this, where it sounds like a slap bass, but there's another harmonic in here. If you set it up to 19 instead of 12, there's like this low pass square kind of sound. Processing on the synth. A number you bring up, you normally use that for most of your songs on. It's a fair split of like synthesis and actual like granulizing. It's not like I'm always like back and forth when it comes to that. For synth processing, we have distortion. Let's fucking solo this. So one of the main things I found funny about the song is hearing what the synth sounds like before and after. So without anything, this is what the synth sounds like. So this is definitely an instance of processing taking the major role in the synth. So we have distortion set up to around 12 dB, dynamics all the way, doesn't really matter. Bias 100, spread 50. It's adding stereo. That's definitely what's in. It's definitely adding stereo. Not like major stereo, but from Ableton, what do you think is a good stock instrument for a sub? Operator. Operator is basically like Operator is the citrus of Ableton. I would like to think of it as. But you can literally just take like a sine wave and just like mess with it from there. Like it's really easy to mess around with. Operator is relatively easy for sub bass. I would highly recommend that for kind of stuff. So for the vocodecs, it's reverb vocoder. Yeah, the same as all the other songs. Special effects, reverb 2. I turned this up a bit because I like the body of like the. I like the body of it. Not like. I like the sound of it. So I didn't like leave it like all the way back. Disperser. There's another instance of using disperser. Although the song isn't C sharp, although the song isn't F sharp, this is pasted from another song that was using it as F sharp, but C sharp and F sharp are like, they're on the same kind of wavelength, if that makes sense. So I don't really feel it's a bad thing if you did like something like C and F, or D and G, or E sharp and G sharp, or C sharp and F sharp, and so on and so forth. So it really depends on what you think sounds cool in here. But if you really want to be like key specific, there's a little like alternate way you can do it. You do like F sharp instead of C sharp. Valhalla Room is being automated for the reverb. So this is the reverb going on. It's a little slope going up, and then it stops. It goes back down once the next thing hits. And it's also playing as like a layer, like right here. It's more so about like controlling your reverb, which is what's the main helpful part. And crystallizer. I don't use crystallizer until the second drop, but once we do get to the second drop, I can definitely show what I was doing there. EQ. High passing. Pretty sure it's high passing to what C sharp is destined to be. Yep. So this is high passing to C sharp. If you right click the band and you click key, you go to C sharp. It is C sharp 4, 277. So this is taking out most of the low mids. It's just more mids, high end. It's not more of a low mid kind of thing. Since the sub is already doing a fair bit of the work for low mid, because it's like a more of a boomy sub with a secondary harmonic, I feel like it wasn't really necessary to do so. I didn't use the isotope vinyl all the way, but I have it there because isotope vinyl, what it does, it'll squash the sound of it and it'll turn on this high end a bit. In which I kind of like gradually return it again after it's being ran through a sausage fattener. So a sausage fattener, 10% color, 25% fatness, just making it relatively louder than what it was before. Valhalla Vintage Verb. Same as when I was breaking down the synth. It's just very minimal reverb. It's in this instance, actually, it's taking a major role because there is another OTT on here. Like, you can't really hear it like that present, but the OTT helps make everything really stand out much more than it should. For the synth, I am using a little bit of delay, 41.3%, stereo all the way, or offset all the way over. I don't know why I was tweaking the minus stream. High pass is high passing it to go a little bit past the mids, and the tone is a little bit down, so it's not like playing all the high end. That's what it sounds like. And if I turn it down to like 40 or something, then it's not playing like all the high end. It's like reducing it a bit. And yeah, pretty sure that's like just about as much as I can do for a synth and sub. Next is sub layer. So I thought this was relatively a cool little sound for the sub. It kind of sounds stupid, but it also kind of sounds cool at the same time. So what it is it's two square waves. One square wave with the regular pitch, and another one 15% volume. So without it, something like that. 15%, and two oscillators, not two oscillators, one octave up. It's a cool little additional thing. To get this kind of sound is a bit fun. If I can find it, not that. Fucking. Did they not do it here? Where did they do it? I'm lost in my own project. Help. Is it really? No, it has to be. Oh, no, okay. So, mod X is set down to like 45. Actually, this sounds more like 42. And the mod Y is being turned all the way up, so without it, it just sounds like it's a little bit low pass, but that's just resonance kind of thing. It's a low pass. It's a bit like, you can kind of hear and get the grasp of the fact that it's like being resonated. When making phaser, flangy, or chorusy sounds for rhythm, how do you avoid phasing or lack of harmonic compatibility? So, in that instance, I don't really think I don't use chorus, phaser, or flanger a lot, but what I would say is, if you actually want a sound that's like phaser wise, or phaser, or flanger, or chorus, any of those kind of things, I think that's like the best effects that you can get for it. Don't have the spread like all the way up, like, because obviously it's gonna sound really weird. If I could turn it back on. Like, it sounds really weird panning wise, but if you turn like 4, set to like 4 or something, or like turn down the rate a bit so it's not going as fast and chaotic, I think you should be fine then. I feel like kilohertz is really good for like having control over the chorus spread, flanger spread, and all that kind of stuff. Besides that, I can't really help you because I'm not really into that kind of sound. That's not the kind of sound I aim for. So this is a Vocodex. This is actually doing vocoding this time. Surprise, surprise. So usually the bands are set to 47 by default, I think, and I moved over to 100. Moved this over to 100. I wasn't digging the sound as much, so I turned it up an octave. I was feeling the sound a lot more. But I felt like I was losing some high-end presence within vocoding it generally. So I added a minimal bit crusher. See, the thing is, the reason why it's down so low, I think, pretty sure it's like 1. This is 2%. It's 32%. So if I had it like this, the OTT takes up so much in the mix. Takes up so much in the processing, right? Rather, but yeah. Similar processing as to what I was explaining earlier. Depth is around mid-range. Time is around mid-range of 100 to 1000. Just so it's not that intense. Especially considering I already have like an OTT on the bus. And it's being a high pass. Pretty sure this is another C-sharp instance. Yeah. C-sharp 5, 504.4 hertz. So it doesn't have like a lot of like low mid and mid. It's more like a high mid bass sound. So it sounds a bit airy, but that's also the intention because it's just a layer. What effects are people using when they turn people's voices wobbly and funny? Vibrato, yeah. Usually it's vibrato or really fast pitch alpha. Melda plugins, Melda Production has a really good vibrato plugin if you want like something really basic. But also what you could do is you can grab a audio sound. So if I did like something like if I did something like this, and then I set to here, and then set the stretch usually if you don't want the sample to move back and forth. Set to like 7, create automation clip. What you do is you right click the 0.2 out of 2, click like what is it, wave? Click wave and then you can see the control how fast it goes. I'm pretty sure Ominous broke this down in his stream not so long ago. But yeah, depending on how fast you want to be, you can do like. Yeah, it's like a basic sound for it. But you can also use M vibrato if you're lazy and don't want to go through that process, kind of. Which is like relatively a bit more easier. That's not to drop. Okay, so I broke down the first sublayer sound. The second sublayer sound is not that. Fucking. Not that. Where is it? I feel so lost. There is a second one somewhere. There we go. Okay, no, it's just that it's on a different thing. I'm pretty sure it's on this pattern. But this is white noise bass. A little bit of attack. It's not like playing like obviously, it's like playing a little bit of like a slope. What it is, it's literally just a sine wave and like white noise. Not like a super droning white noise, like 20% I would say is perfect. And you run it through a camel crusher, distort it a bit. Like you can full distort it, you can distort it a bit, you can just full slam it. And what I like to do is I like to put an OTT on it. Start from 100, go like midway again, just so it's not like super intense. And then high pass it to your heart's content, because you don't want to have like the low mids if you already have lows in your sub. You just high pass it and have a general high on the bass. And you have sausage founders just boosting it up again. Can you get a vocal and do that? Well, I mean, you can do the same for a vocal. Like, as long as the vocal's a audio sample, you can do that. But I would prefer to get this done as fast as I can, considering I'm almost at my third hour now. Alright, so this is the obligatory background screech. Same process, like, I mean, I could break it down if you want me to, but it's literally the same way I did it last time. Background sounds. So this is really laid back in the mix. It has obnoxious OTT, and it's really obnoxiously out there, but it's also like really laid back, because I wouldn't want this to be like straight up in my mix. And I'm obviously high passing it a bit to where it doesn't clash too hard. For layering, I have one sample that's more like mid bass, but it's also like has a little bit of high end. Okay, so it goes the other way. So this one's more based on like low mids and high end. So you hear more low mids and high end than you hear other things. And this one's more like a little bit high end and a little bit and mostly mids. Who were your dubstep inspirations? I'd say people like 16-bit, Zomboy, obviously Skrillex, people like that. Like, I feel like a lot of people share like the same kind of like dubstep inspiration list. It'd be like Skrillex, Zomboy, Must Die, all those kind of people. And I mean, like, it's not really that different for me. Like, probably not a lot of people have said 16-bit, but they have inspired me too. So, I mean, it's all kind of the same. I am implementing the hardstyle kick in here too, so it's not the This is, once again, this is just messing around with notes. So, this part is playing like an F sharp. Holy shit. Fucking, I'm sorry. That's so fucking loud. So, this is playing octave up. This is playing another F sharp. It's literally, it's not moving anywhere besides F sharps and C sharps. So, that's how the basic flows like come out. Yeah, so it's just run out flow like that. So, to wrap up the sim processing over here, there is a there's crystallizer mix over here. Where is it? Here it is. So crystallizer mix over here. As you can notice, it's like slowly. So it's ramping up to go into the sound I wanted it to go into. And the sound is basically like 3 milliseconds worth of granular echo, and it's an octave up. So it's a good change in sound. If you ever want to change in sound, crystallizer is a pretty cool thing. In terms of percussions and hats, how do you keep a good flow? What I find useful is not using them that often. What I like to do sometimes is use like quarter note hi-hats, but sometimes percussions, I like to have it more so on fills rather than constantly looping over and over. I feel like to get a good flow, you'd want to add percussion after you get like the basic flow written out, flow and drum patterns, and then go for it. I think that's probably like the best approach, in my opinion. But then again, my workflow isn't the best here, so yeah. This part, it's pretty much looped. The only thing that really varies, the only part that really varies in the song is like the snare change. I did this like a year ago, like the year or two ago, with a song or two. But I have my snare change up to the signals. Something that sounds like the original one a bit, just to keep like more variation going. And yeah. I don't know what else I can show. What do you take into consideration when making rhythm? What I think is a good thing to put into consideration is that not all the times that you should try to mess around with your flow rather than have it be coordinates. And also, mix sounds are really essential when it comes to like a really nice sounding rhythm track. Like depending on what style your song is, I feel like you should really focus on the mix sound and kind of like focus on patterns rather than like be lazy with it. Like sometimes notice people are like do like basic patterns, and I feel like there's no point. I feel like you could do a lot more when making rhythm if you tried to like change up the flow more, like add like fills and stuff, and like vary up. But then again, it's up to you. Like you make rhythm that has coordinates all the way. You can have rhythm that's mono-breaks all the way or triplets. But keep a note that you can definitely make things interesting by changing the flows a bit, or trying things you wouldn't try. But yeah. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys have questions for, but I think I pretty much like rounded up the breakdown of Akira for now. If you want anything else, if you want to know anything else, you can definitely let me know, and I can try to answer it. What does your master chain look like? Also, what do you go for in average loudness metering? I can't say I care too much about loudness metering. So for my mastering, dice director for intro effect. I went through this earlier, and you'll probably find it whenever the stream ends, and that it might stay there. For the EQ, it's just being boosted a bit. Like this is just lazy things. It sounds the same if you keep it on and off. It's just like the slightest dynamic range. Then the soft clipper. Soft clipper saying 1.3 threshold this time, and it's still assuring that the post is hitting post gain 80%. Everything is hitting 0. Everything's hitting 0 and it's perfect. What is a lesser known trick you've learned recently to clean up your mix sounds? Lesser known thing. Lesser known thing. Lesser known thing. I can't really say I'm learning too much about mix sounds recently. Oh my god, I accidentally fucking did the Discord. I can't say I've learned too much about mix sounds recently, but what is always a good idea is what I personally think is a really good idea is definitely trying to like EQ almost everything, if not like everything like solely, and also in terms of if your synths need more high-end, you can always try to duplicate the same synth and then have like a higher version sitting in the background that hits the highs, or more like cloning stuff to have it more focused on the high end rather than like rather than forcing it all to like to boost the highs more and boost the highs and constantly do it. You can also do like higher octave synths. You can work like that too. But I mean, that's pretty much all I'd really say. I don't really know anything specific that I could help out and give out that I know of and that I can really put into detail. But hopefully that helped in the slightest. I don't know. I really don't know for this. I just mix down. What I do usually when I mix down is that I just mix as like mixing as go is like one of probably my favorite methods. But also you can like you can revise the mix down whenever you come back to it like later. But it really depends. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up the stream for now. I think I've covered up as much as I could. And as much as I feel like going into for now. Yeah. What I might take into consideration doing now is maybe sometimes I'll do streams on Twitch more often. Maybe, depends. But if I do, you should follow me on social media and stay updated. Because I'll definitely be tweeting before I actually stream and stuff. Yeah. I think this is where I will round it up and say goodbye. Thank you for coming along. It was definitely an honor working with someone to do the breakdown songs and stuff rather than doing on my own stream. Because it definitely helps to boost a bit more when there's already a community built there to be ready, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, hopefully you guys learn a lot. Have a good night, morning, evening, whatever. Depends on where you're from. Yeah, see you later.